Hello, good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Brondby 1, Rangers 1 in an away Europa League Cup tie. Join myself, Oxford, on the show. It's Jaffa. How are we doing, Jaffa?
Great, Ox. Glad to be here, mate. Thanks for having me. Always great to be on the Rangers Radio.
The pleasure's all mine, mate. The pleasure's all mine. Well, give us your thoughts, mate.
Mixed bag, Ox. Thought we started great. Probably could have had the game wrapped up in the first 10 or 15 minutes with some brilliant clear-cut chances. I felt the two bookings were quite important in the game for their two front guys. I think it took the sting out of the attack. I'm not sure how that affects the head, but certainly took the edge off the two players in question. And then I thought they controlled most of the first half. Got a lucky goal. I mean, it was it was one of them. Yeah, and I thought we'd done very well to come back into it. I thought the manager's substitutions were pivotal in the game, and I think deserves a wee bit of credit for doing that, actually. I thought Ryan Kent looked good, what we saw of him tonight. Some of his old tricks, and he was instrumental in getting that goal. Great goal by Hadji.
Yeah, well, listen, great finish by my mate Hadji. A nice ball by, I can't remember who played it, Aribo, but Aribo knocked in the path of Kent. Kent, sharp, made a nice pass to Hadji and a good finish. Look, our goal we lost. It was a bad looking on goal. I understand it when the ball's in the middle of the goal, you go for it. I think we could have done the whole thing better. The first ball could have been done better, and then Balogun's not going to do anything. But I don't know what he was trying to do you?
No, just sticking his neck out, Ox, and it's one when you do that, it's a 50-50. You run the risk of doing exactly what happened with it. You're not in control, and he was the wrong side as well. He's aiming, he's sticking his head towards goal. These things, that's in it. But you're right, the first ball into the box where the flick on happened, that's what caused all the bother. And we never got out there quick enough to defend that.
No, obviously there was a big talking point in the first half when we scored the goal and it was gained for the ball going out of play for a corner kick. The TV angles, one of the best. Nothing was conclusive.
No, nothing was conclusive. But apart from the fact that Morelos and Tavernier were adamant the ball hadn't went out. You can't tell for the angle. And I listened to Super Ali at half time, and he was adamant it wasn't out. So if Super Ali says it's no out, I'm sticking with him.
Well, Abida gave the goal, Jaffa.
Oh, it was a cracking finish. That's what I'm saying, Ox. And there was a couple other instances, shots, good attempts on goal round about that same time. With Morelos had a wee kind of, he was on the wrong side of the goal. But he made a good move at the edge of the box, and he got his shot away, and it was just the other side of the post. I think Sakala had a couple of wee instances as well where he was through. And I thought we were looking lightly. There was a chance out on the right-hand side. I can't remember. Was that Morelos as well? Where he got through on the right-hand side of the box. I thought, I wasn't concerned, Ox. The start of the game, I thought we looked really good. But they seemed to get control of that midfield again with those five guys in the middle of the park.
Yeah, they did. But what I will say is, if you think back in the whole game, I think Alan McGregor had very little today.
They never had any clear-cut chances in the first half, apart from, it was all peppering. It was all round about the box and second balls, and it was as we were chatting before we come on there. I think 1-1. Well, listen, we'll take it. It's done now, so we need to get back to Ibrox with Sparta Prague. They got beat again tonight, so that's a positive in that respect. We're sitting equal with them on 4 points. Big game against them, massive game against them in a what is it? 3 weeks time?
Yes,
2 weeks time. Is it 3 weeks time? Yeah, 3 weeks time.
Yeah.
So massive game at Ibrox. I think the Bears will be up for that one. So full house. And if you're going to do it in your own patch. So we've got a great opportunity. We're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination, and we've still got a great chance to get second place.
No, we win our next game, we're really in the driving seat. I mean, if we win our next game and we do manage to win, say 2-0 or 3-0 or whatever, you Sparta can't catch you. And then Leon would need to take maximum points. Brondby would need to take maximum points. So you actually could go through next week, but I suppose Prague will have the same ambitions, yeah?
Exactly, Ox. Yeah, in the next game. You're right. It's at the Brock, so we'd rather have it in Ibrox and be away. And again, I think I heard you talking during the week. A couple of the lads were saying the same. I didn't think there was much in it with them over in Prague. I didn't think we were. There was huge differences. I thought the teams were well matched, if the truth be told.
What I will say is we Balogun and Bassey playing at centre backs. We Nate Morelos on the park, who brings us something. Even though I don't think he's the best of games tonight, I think the booking for Alfie really early on affects his play, if I'm being honest. And I thought it was a sensible substitution. I thought the substitution for him and Sakala made sense because European football, one wee trip and you're off the park. I get it. I think we missed the pace of Sakala, and I think we also missed Alfredo's bullishness. But we got there in the end with a great finish. One of my all-time favourites, Janis Hachi.
Is that you get a T-shirt on the new Ox as you're sitting there, aye?
Always, mate, always.
That very fine locks of hair you've got. That what haircut he's got as well, isn't he?
Well, to be fair, he did steal that Gillette advert in Romania off me, so I've been a bit better since then, But listen, a great finish. But the bookings. I know you mentioned them, mate. The first one for me could have been a booking all day long, but else a wee bit unlucky. So short for Borna. I don't know what you thought. I didn't think Borna. Did he look ready to you?
No, he didn't, and it was interesting. I heard him saying that on commentary when he came off as well. That probably he was falling out of the game. You forget he's just come back. Why did we not play Bassey then for the start? Big man had a great game against Motherwell on Sunday.
And he done okay when he came on as well. I know it was only the last few minutes, but he done okay when he came on. I think the competition for that place is getting closer. We just never fired. Things weren't coming off. We were short at times. Stops, and then other times we had excellent play. There was a spell in the second half, mate. We had them chasing shadows. We're moving the ball, pulling them from one side to the other, but we weren't creating enough. But let's be honest about it. There's teams went to Denmark and lost the game against certain Danish teams in the past, and we've come away against the Danish champions with a 1-1 draw, beat them at home and 1-1 at their place. So we've got to put it in context, Jaffa.
Exactly, Ox. Totally, I totally agree with you, mate. 100%. I mean, I think it's a demonstration of how far our team and those guys, that pool of players that Steven Gerrard's brought them. We're all moderately disappointed that we only got a 1-1 draw against the Danish champions away from home, and having just beaten them 2-0 at Ibrox 2 weeks before it. So you're right. Context, I think, is required, and I overall, I don't think it was a bad result, and we're still well in it. So onwards and upwards.
Here. Aye. Listen, I think we'll get the phone lines open, get people's thoughts.
Be great to hear what the guys and the girls have got to say on tonight's game. Be really, really good to hear their points.
All right, let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
I would say it was a frustrating night. I think you could see that in Gerrard's face at the side, mate, if I'm being honest. He knows we can play better.
Yeah. And it was as if, as well, they had been watching some of those teams that we play in the Premier League. Because the minute they came out in the second half, it was all that, it was slow, it was really turgid, they were kicking the ball, it was an eternity to come back. It was just, they were totally trying to kill the game. And I'm talking about the 58th minute of the match. So yeah, it was frustrating, and that, I think that builds up frustration amongst the players and the coaching staff, because you can see them getting agitated at the side of the side of the pitch. But we got there. We got the goal, and that brought them out the traps a wee bit more and opened the game up. And it did become quite stretched at the end. It was quite end to end, for both teams.
Yeah, all right. I thought we looked to more likely to go and win it, if I'm being honest, Jaffa. I really did.
We did more. I think we looked to sharper Ox up front. I think the front three that was playing with Kent, Hadji, and Roof up front, I thought we're passing it a bit more. And Aribo was actually more in the game, interestingly, when those guys came on the park. than he was with the first half. We did look the more likely to get the winner. I think if another 10 minutes, we probably got one.
Aye, but we didn't, and you have to move on. And who was your best player on the piece for you?
I would have said probably the best player in the park. I'm struggling a wee bit, Ox, I'm not going to lie, but I thought Tavernier was quite steady. He had a steady game. Nobody really jumped out though. Balogun played well. He apart from the own goal, of course, I thought he had a lot of good interceptions. I'm not really finding jumping anybody out from the front line, to be honest with you. Hadji, of course, with the goal. It's hard to see bad guys that score goals.
I think with the piece of the 90 minutes, I would maybe get to Connor Golson. Bizarrely, I don't think he'd done a lot wrong with this. Balogun might have edged it if he had needed the point.
I know. I heard them saying that at the start. I think it was one of the comments. I think it was wee Alec Ray said at the start of the second half. He says Brondby have still not scored a goal in this competition because Leon Balogun scored it for them. A strange statistic, to be honest with you. That was their first goal in that Europa League.
Aye. They're no, as Alan McCoy said after the game, they're not the greatest of sides, and I have to agree with him. They're well organised and they play a system and they have a go, which is refreshing compared to some of the football that we watch, but they're not the greatest of sides, are they?
No, they're not. And I thought exactly that when I saw them. I'm being honest, Ox. I turned to a fella I sit with at Ibrox, and I said that this season they were the worst team I'd seen at Ibrox this season. The game at Ibrox a couple of weeks ago. But they were different tonight, I have to say. They're a very young team, I will say. They've got a lot of kids in their team. And I have to say, they've got a couple of handy wee players, but they're not the best team in the Rangers have ever played.
No. But they're in the competition, and we have to. All it comes down to the next game. I know a lot of the fans, even on here, I've said that Europe's a distraction. I think it's important for the club as a whole, Jaffa.
I think the two, I think is with any big football team, modern football team, and we're a big club, Ox. We need, our sponsors demand that kind of exposure and prestige, their names across tops, and that's why we can, get as much money. Guys like Bisgrove can get these big sponsorship deals. If we're not in a European competition, at least until Christmas, after Christmas preferably, I think our fans as well demand it. We demand it as a fan base. I mean, I couldn't wait to get back to European games. I'll never tire of going to see Rangers under the lights on a Thursday night or a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night midweek games. I love them, Ox. I'm not going to lie. I absolutely love them for exactly the reason you've just said. You don't know much about the team that's turning up, and they're usually a step up. And they were a step up to what we played in the Premier League week in, week out. The Danish team we played tonight. It's great for the players to test themselves against it. I don't see it as a distraction. I think it's modern football. You play twice a week. You play at the weekend, you play during the week. And that's just the way it is. And I think it's great that Rangers are in these competitions. And the last few years for me have been brilliant. And you saw with the fans there tonight, Ox, what a support we had again tonight.
Yeah.
The amount of the boys that travelled over there. I mean, I don't know if I heard you saying last night it was about 3,000. But great support, brilliant support away from home in Europe.
I hear and I hope everybody's safe. I believe there's been a small incident when the police were there when they've moved the coaches and then battens have been drawn. But hope they're safe and sound. That's what we're picking up.
Well, let's hope the boys are all the boys and the girls are all looking after each other and everyone's safe.
Aye. I know it sounds a bit strange about him. You're going with Balogun and Golson to be some of the better players. I just felt as if Kamara and Davis and Arfield, it just didn't quite happen for them tonight, and the passes were just short, or it just wasn't happening. The ball just wasn't getting to Morelos. Sakala, even the one that he shot past the post, if the ball had been inside and he's running in and goal, just half a yard, everything was just slightly off. Not much off, but just slightly off, yeah?
Yeah. It was in his wrong. He took it in his wrong side, didn't he? He hit it with his right foot, and it's a left hooker all day long, isn't it? or play it across the goal to Morelos, who's running in, at the penalty spot. Listen, cameras are great, and we watch this in the telly, and we see it, and we all become brilliant footballers, and we all played the game, I know, at different levels, but it's in real time, and the pace that these guys are playing football at. But going back to your point about the passing, Ox, that was evident the whole night. The passes just weren't getting there. They were either a yard short or they were 2 yards long. There was a lot of misplaced passes tonight.
Just half a yard short. And fun enough, it was a half a yard short pass that got Morelos booked, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
The Barisic, in these situations, the pass has got to be half a yard heavy, if anything, never shorter.
Yeah, I know, and I mean that was like, I think it was 2 minutes and 32 seconds or something into the game, and the referee's out with a yellow card right away, and I thought, we know what we're going to get here tonight with this guy. He's trigger happy, and then the big fella had one down in the second half, and we Kent where he upended him, and never went back near the guy. Never went back near the left back.
The ball broke to Tav.
Aye. I mean, that was a yellow card all day long. It was very inconsistent. And then, I just felt there was a throw-in over on the left-hand side in the first half. The linesman gave it to us, and then the referee overruled it. I thought, there was some odd decisions, but I think they call that a homer, don't they? It was definitely a homer.
We'll find out tomorrow night on the view for the bridge.
Aye, he'll not miss him.
Very interesting. I go back to Borna. Borna's got this one day left foot, and he shows for the ball. He never hides. A bit like Tavernier in some respects. They never hide in that. They go and try and take it in, but it was a big call by Gerrard putting him in, considering I don't think he's not played since the Hearts game, which was 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
And he said it was his experience. The reason he put him in was because he's experienced and not that type of game, and he knew what the team required tonight. That kind of control level that we were looking for in the first half, which I think we got in the first 15 minutes. But as I said, I think we lost. We quickly, that got overturned, and they became dominant in the first half. In the midfield, I hasten to add, without penetrating as much, but they certainly had a lot of the ball area. Spreading it about. But I go back to the Barisic call box. I mean, in hindsight, again, it doesn't look like the right call, because I thought Bassey come on and he kind of showed up that end of because the young guy who was playing out in the right wing was getting a bit of joy with Barisic for them. And he was turning him round a few times and getting down to the byline. So I thought Bassey stopped that. In all honesty, when he came on, he had a couple of good interceptions.
Listen, I think the manager will say, look at the game, and Borna never his side of the party done okay. I just think it's hard on him coming back after a layoff, and he's not any games to get match fit. So he came in and he was a bit, I'm not saying rusty, but things were just, the passes were a wee bit short at times,
Yeah.
And, and the combinations weren't quite there. And remember, there was one he passed it, he said Callis. Callis just took his foot off it because he never got the run and let it run out of play. We made an overload down the left, mate.
I seen that. That was. I was screaming at the telly when that happened. I mean, and I think that was at the point where the manager jumped up and made the three subs on 55 minutes, which is the first time I've seen him doing that, I think, this season.
Well, you've got to use the anyway, we've been joined by Scott. Evening, Scott.
Evening, Oxshire.
Hi, Scott. How you doing, mate?
How you doing, mate? All right?
I'm all right. How are you boys? All right?
Aye, good, mate. Everybody's safe. Everybody's well, aye. Good. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I settled a wee bit better the last half an hour. I was a bit pleased, but I just thought the first half was...
I've told you that Hadji's a good player, isn't he?
Aye, I know, aye. It was only a bit of football we played all night, I think. We pressed a wee bit at the end, but the first half was awfully scrappy, wasn't it? I thought they were getting the ball away, the passing wasn't there as you were talking about. And I would have kept Bassey in the team. I wouldn't have really dropped him, because the last couple of games he's been one of our best players, I think. And their goal was it's been like a season, isn't it? We've been getting away sloppy goals.
Big ballad, isn't it? Big Ballaghan's opened the scoring twice against in the Brondby.
I mean, they've not had a shot on target. Not one on target.
I
They done there. I looked at this.
Is that right, Scott?
After the game. Aye, not a shot on target. Week 3 they never had any. Because the one I think the boys shot about half of Arfield. I thought McGregor had saved it at the time, but half of Arfield went out.
The last time I seen that in 90 minutes was Savoy, Fox up with Savoy.
Need shots on target.
Aye, it was a bit. I just thought they were there for the taking. As you were talking, but I don't think they're the greatest team. They're not the best team we play in Europe. I just thought they were there, and to be fair to the manager, the 3 subs he made did make a huge difference. But I don't know what Sakala got booked for. How he can give a guy a booking for that, I'll never know. He's trying to go out the road of the guy.
No. Here's a question for you, Scott, and then Jaffer after you, mate. All right, Ryan Kent's made the goal, but even in his all-round play, he looked sharper than he did before he went out the team. Yeah,
he did. That's what I noticed right away. Oxter, he looked at it. You know what I mean? He was receiving the ball, taking in, and he jinking by a couple of players, and he looked. I mean, before he looked, I'm not saying sluggish, but he just looked no right at it. But it looked like the Kent for last year, where he was taking a couple of players on and that. I was really encouraged when he came on. I thought he done really well, and it's more of the Kent we want to see, which is good. So maybe I think what they've done this time, they maybe learned their lesson a wee bit, and maybe gave him a 2 or 3 weeks, because maybe I think at the start they said maybe 4 weeks he was going about. I think that's about 6 or 7. So maybe they'll give him plenty of time to recover, and it'll probably help. Hopefully he can stay fit now, and it's like a new player back into it if he's going to be 100%.
I mean, listen, we'll get 3 massive games coming up across county, which is home in the league. To keep in front of that competition. The next one's the semi-final. We come back to the semi-final of the Cup against Hibs. The following
Thursday. We'll not have played for 4 weeks until they play us.
Aye. And then we play Sparta on the Thursday in 3 different competitions. And this is a big, big part of the season coming up, Scott.
It's because December's huge as well. I think we've obviously got the Old Firm game in January, but we've got Easter Road to go to. And maybe
but we can put
well.
big markers down if we keep. All of a sudden, we could be in the final of the League Cup in the next round of Europe and still 4 points clear.
Yeah.
In the next 3 games, and momentum's growing with you. Hopefully,
Yeah, and then hopefully the 2-week break, I'll get Ryan Jack as well. I don't know, into the team.
Aye, good point, Jaffa. Well, they're saying he's not far away, aren't they, Scott? I think Gerrard said the other day that he's had 2 full weeks without any reaction or training, and it was just a matter of getting him a game behind closed doors and so forth to try and build his fitness. Going back to Ryan Kent, I totally 100% with you on that, mate. His first move tonight, he nutmegged the guy. Don't know if you saw it. The first touch of the ball, that was his first touch. He nutmegged the guy, and I was like, "Come on, mate! That's the Ryan Kent that we all love to bits." And the wee link up in the goal was brilliant as well. And he had a couple other wee bits and bobs in the game where he was. That sounds as though he didn't have a lot to do. He was very in the game, and he changed it. And going back to those 3 games that Ox is talking about, I mean, it is a big period coming up for us, a big period, and it'd be good to get some of those guys back. I mean, to get Ryan Jack back would be like getting, and that's a new signing. Yeah, because he's not played for February, I think it is, isn't it? Exactly, aye. He's been out for a long, 7 months or something he's been out. Yeah, I just hope he's fully recovered.
Aye, well, that's first and foremost, get fit, and we'll see what it takes us. With Ryan Kent's back, we'll get Sakala, who after Sunday will be a valued member of the squad that we never seen coming. Lundstrom's not been on the park for the last 2 games. Then we didn't hit that, Jaffa. Yeah, Big Bakuna got on tonight as well. He had a wee run out tonight. He had a good move, actually. He ran once and then he finished, but he wasn't on the ball much. But look, we can't judge him. We're not seeing enough of him. Yeah, there was one. I think there was one at the end. I think when Ruth went to the byline, I think he tried to cut it across, and he was right at the edge of the box for a wee cutback. He was screaming at Ruth for the ball, and he didn't get it. He didn't get it, obviously. Yeah.
I thought that one of Ruth's header was going at the end. I jumped up.
Especially when you see the net moving.
He couldn't do a lot with it, could he? It was just behind him, wasn't it?
But Simon, guys, what do you think about these outswinging corners?
Well, I don't see the sense for the very reason they've seen. Yeah.
But how they could tell that ball was out, I'll never know. Because that one tapped it in right at the end. I mean, we nearly got a goal for it. That one, it was an in-swinger. That was only an in-swinger. Because I think we had a free kick as well over in the corner, can't I mind, and it was Barisic who put it in. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I'm saying that's crying out for Tav to whip one of his crosses in.
It's like in-swinging for me, isn't it?
I'm an in-swinger, man. I know you're a swinger, Jeff. I'm sorry, mate. I mean,
You're associating me with that other guy who goes to Cupid's Ox. That's not my scene.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. For me, when you've got Barisic and Tav, one takes him to the left and one takes him to the right. And when you do, that's the reason when you go with a left footer there rather than a right footer. I always think an in-swing cross is harder to defend, but obviously people see it different. Scott, what's your thoughts?
No, I prefer an in-swing. I think it just goes. It's just, especially with the two guys who've got it, they're capable of putting the crosses in. And I just think, as you say, you're more like even a wee deflection, or sometimes it can go right in. And it doesn't even need to get a touch. Because I thought that was a perfect angle for Tav over on that side where we got that free kick. But we take a point and we move on. We win 2-0 at Ibrox which were more capable against Sparta Prague, because I wasn't really that impressed with them either. And I think that'll be enough to get us through.
I agree. We've got a chance to get through in the next game. I think we'll be favourites to win the game, but whether we'll win by 2 goals, that's another thing. But first and foremost, you just want to win the game and see where it takes us. But listen, we're still in 4 competitions. We're top of the league. We seem to be slowly, even though the night wasn't great, Jaffa. But this team, they gives everything they've got. This group of players.
They find a way, don't they? They do find a way. Ox. They seem to. They've got that dig within them where they can get themselves back into the games. I mean, it was a bit late in coming tonight, but they done it, and that's a great quality to have. In any football team, to have that where you can really dig down deep and you can get a result out of it. And they done that tonight. They did do that tonight. And that's a great, as I said, it's a great quality to have, Ox.
Aye. It's just seem to keep going. They give what they've got, and I think that they play for the manager. He's quietly cajoling them at the side of the park. He's not a guy that's roaring at them at the side of the park, Scott. But I think he's just tweaking, and he says his business before at half time. That's his style. I think
you've got to look at it as well, the amount of times I've went. I mean, I think that's 9 or 10 times.
10 times. 10 times this season.
10, aye. And I think we've maybe only, apart from maybe the European games, I've only really lost 1 game. That was in Day United. So they're definitely playing for the manager. I just think Sunday was a hell of a lot better, as I said, when I was on Sunday. But as I said, I just thought it got a wee bit scrappy tonight. And I didn't think that, as I said before, that for me that team's not any better than Day United or St Johnstone. I don't think that's how they reminded me a wee bit, the way they played. And I mean, at the end, as you said, they were kicking the ball all over the place. So I think they were kind of happy to settle for a point, because it was us that was doing all the pressing near the end of the game. Just a pity we couldn't get that second goal.
I think they'd run out of steam, if I'm being honest. I think we were finishing horses, if I'm being really honest. I know they can kick the ball up apart, get a breakaway and score, but I think if you look at the back, they went to 5 with 2 in front, really. And when they had the ball, and we just couldn't find a pass. We had a chance, Jaffa, when arguably Kent had maybe an easier pass than the Hadji one when he overhit it to Roof.
Aye, we were still creating. We were, as I said, Ox. I think if the game had went on for another 5 or 10 minutes, I think we would have got another goal. It was coming. You could feel it building, and we had the bit between our teeth. But when we scored with the actual goal, it was late on. What was it? The 82nd minute we scored the goal. Or 78th minute. 77th minute.
Or 70, I ran about that time.
Aye, so it was like 12 or 13 minutes left, wasn't there? But as I said as well earlier, Scott, we had a lot of chances, half chances maybe is a better way of describing it, in the first half, where we could have been bloody out of sight. You know, we could have been up 2-0 up in the first 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for
pass, wasn't it?
Aye, it just wasn't happening tonight, mate. You know, whereas you compare that to Sunday, and you know, the minute Calvin Bassey, for me, the best move of the game on Sunday when he got that big Stephen O'Donnell sent off, I was delighted with that. I thought that was brilliant. When he just drew that foul at him and he got him out off the park. That changes the game, but that's great tactics to do that. And maybe tonight they were trying to do that with a wee bit with Sakala, and they were trying to egg him into a second challenge.
I think it was a wise substitution for the manager.
Alfred fashion, we're always likely to trip somebody up, and then you've got the ref's got a decision to make.
Sakala did, Oaks, didn't he?
Aye, just before half time. Aye. Yeah. Listen, we've got the manager. If you want to hear from your manager, get yourselves on mute, and let's hear from Stephen George Gerrard.
I think he was more there for us, more than a point. Obviously, when you go a goal behind at this level to take something out of the game, obviously is a positive, I suppose. But I think having competed against that opposition, I thought they were there for the taking and the maximum points. So I think we've underperformed tonight, certainly in the first half. There was a massive improvement when I made the substitutions. We passed the ball better, looked more dangerous. We were overloading them in the right areas. But the first half, I thought the whole game was lacking in quality, to be honest. Yeah, well, look, I think maybe I got the front three wrong today, or the front three didn't bring to the game what I wanted and what I expected of them. Probably two sides of it. But once we got the right players on the pitch with quality in the right areas, I thought we passed through them. I thought we looked more dangerous. And if any team was going to go on and win the game, it was us. But we left it too late by starting at half time.
That was a huge positive, Stephen, wasn't it? The way Ryan came on, he looked fit, hungry, sharp, and with a great pass and a great play.
Yeah, it was certainly a fantastic goal. I thought Yanis and Ryan Kent were superb on the time that they were on the pitch. It's great to have Ryan back. I think he'll give everyone a boost, not just inside the dressing room. I think the supporters. We know when he's at it and he's in that form, he's so hard to stop. And obviously, I might need to look at a different front three come the weekend.
Still really tight in the group, just it's back a lot on how big a task you feel it is to finish in the top two.
But I think after the start we made, having lost 2 games, to have the opportunity to win by 2 clear goals at Ibrox and to qualify, it's probably a decent position to be in, considering we've lost the first 2 games. But we're going to need a better level of performance, certainly from the first half point of view, if we're going to go and achieve that. But it's there for us. Ibrox, full house, massive game. I don't think we've really got going in terms of the Europa League campaign so far. So hopefully we can keep everyone fit, healthy, get people up to speed with more fitness and level, and we can put a real strong side out that can give us a good chance of going and achieving that.
Do you feel in that first half you should have been ahead before you considered a goal?
I just don't think we got going. I don't think there was much wrong from an organisation or defensive point of view. We've conceded too many set pieces over the course of the game. I think it was 10 or 11 in terms of corners. That's too many. We've conceded a sloppy goal again. But in terms of quality and what we brought to the game in the first half, from a possession and a creative and an execution point of view, we were nowhere near it.
How do you see the difference between the Brondby side from last time?
To be honest with you, I thought the game in general, my honest opinion, in the first 45 minutes, I think the quality was really low. I thought the atmosphere was fantastic. I thought Brondby was slightly better here than they were at Ibrox. But we weren't as good tonight as we was at Ibrox, so that's probably the reason why the result in the game went how it was. But I thought it was a poor game of football. I don't think we've seen any real quality until I made the substitutions.
You see them go further?
No, because I think there's 3 better teams in the group.
Thank you.
Cheers. Fantastic. Yeah, I remember Daniel Agger's message straight after the game at Ibrox saying the atmosphere in the game was really good tonight, but I expect a real special atmosphere here. And I thought the fans were really good tonight. Both supporters brought a big energy and a big atmosphere to the game. Unfortunately, from our point of view, we didn't turn up till half time, but I thought the fans were terrific.
Right, thanks for that, lads. I think modern technology maybe sorted the noise with the interviews, wouldn't you?
Could you hear a question?
Hey, we're in the bar with the players. You know, all the noise in the background anyway. The manager, very, very honest, Scott.
Oh, he's a class act. He's basically critiqued the kind of game as we have, isn't he? He was correct about the first half, and it was quite low in quality as we spoke about. And when it didn't change until we did make the 3 changes. So he's probably the most honest manager you'll ever hear. Football, he critiques the game very well. He's just a class act, and he knows he sell it. He said what we said, they were there for the taking. He's kind of basically said what we said, they were there for the taking. The first half was very low in quality, which it was, and the game did improve, and they made the 3 substitutions. And he said that our Europa League campaign hasn't really get started, but we'll still get a game at Ibrox. If we win 2-0, we go through, which is, you would have took that at the start. I think we all knew Leon was, they were going to they were the class above the 3 other teams. And as Gerard said there himself, well, there's 3 good teams, and Brondby's we didn't even rate them at all, I don't think.
No, he's very honest. You obviously read my text, Jaffa.
I think you'd be listening to the show.
Aye. Yeah, well, I think the question was, do you think Brondby have got a chance of qualifying? And he said, no, there's 3 better teams in the group. He's only telling the truth, isn't he? He's played all the teams now, you know, so he's seen enough. And as Scott was saying, he's just paraphrasing exactly what we have all been saying. We just didn't get going, and he's right. That's exactly what it looked like. We just didn't get going in the first half. We never started playing until the second half. There's too many slack plays, and but again, he makes a great point. They had too many set pieces against us. We were giving them opportunities we didn't need to give them.
Aye, man. I'm trying to remember the corner we gave away for the goal.
Was their, I can't remember. But that was their best chance of scoring, because they never played through us at all. I mean, they didn't look. It was almost as if they were playing quick football, and that was their best chance of scoring a set piece.
Yeah,
and that's how they got their goal. As I said, they never had a shot on target.
I agree with the manager. They weren't the greatest side, and we just never get going. I think we said that just before the interview, Jaffa. Everything was half a yard short, and that's basically what the manager was saying there.
Yeah, and it's so frustrating when you get such an upbeat performance. 4 days ago when we were stringing the ball about, and some of the intricate passing movements, the triangles were all happening again against Motherwell on Sunday. Scott Arfield was pivotal, pushing up onto that. Okay, I get it that Motherwell were down to 10 men, but for the last 35 minutes of the game, and we absolutely crucified them in that period, and that's a great thing to do when a team goes down to 10 men. But we just never brought any of that tonight. Not until we had that really intricate passing movement, and no surprise, we scored a goal for it, didn't we? It's hard to watch that, because you always have, well, my mind does anyway, and I don't know if you guys are the same. Your mind harks back to last year when we were steamrolling teams like that, and even the year before we were going away and we beat Midtjylland away. I can't remember what we cuffed them that night in Denmark when they won the league.
5-2, wasn't it? 5-2?
4-2, I think. 4-2, and we beat them. I think it was 7-3 in aggregate or something. And they're about 13, 14 points clear of this team in the league. They're top of the Danish league, I know. So that just shows you the level this team's at compared to them, and we'd run over the top of them.
We did, Scott, and in the night against Braga, where they go with Ryan Kent that night, when we trounced them out on their own patch. So we're not hitting the heights, but it is, it's a different season. Things are happening. The players react differently, and we've brought a few new faces in. We're still in the group. That's the most positive thing. We're still in it. We've still got a chance of qualifying.
This journey that Stevie G's took us on in Europe, it's been a success on the piece, Scott.
Oh, it's been phenomenal. If you look at the way, Porto, they're in the Champions League, and they got a draw with AC Milan last night, and we drew over there and we beat them 2-0. So if you just look at some of the results they've had in Europe, and that's what's frustrating about it, when you're playing with a team like that, it's nowhere near that level. I mean, really, we should be, if we put on performances like we did against Porto, and that would be right in the flare with these teams, It's not disappointing. It's more frustrating, I think, than anything else. It's frustrating. That wee spell we had in the first half.
Is it a sign, Jeff, of how far we've came under the manager?
Without a doubt, Ox. Yeah, I mean, I sometimes I said that when we first come on air there earlier. I think you've got to put things into context, haven't you? I mean, they did win the Danish league last year. I know they're well off the pace this year, and we are on our day. We would cuff them. We would put 3 or 4 by them if we turned up tonight and put a 90-minute performance in like we did on Sunday, or even 80% of that. We would have took 3 or 4 off them tonight. We would have played through them, absolutely. And it is a great sign of where we've come to Ox. We're by far a better team than what they are. We've got better player for player, position, every position in the park. We're a better team than them.
Mm-hmm. And I think the 2 games show that. 3-1 in aggregate, head-to-head. We move on, and we want to do the same to Sparta. Get the victory at Ibrox. That'll be an interesting night, Scott.
Yeah, that's. I think we owe Prague a few, don't we? So that's a night to surely the Ibrox will be jumping. By the end of the time, play then we'll have a Kent will have played hopefully. But by the sound of the way Gerrard's talking, I think he's going to start on Sunday. So that's we owe Prague a few, I think, and that's the game today. Wipe the flare with them, and then, as you said, we could be in the final of the Cup. We could be in the last 32 of the Europa League and 4 points clear. But we're the one that's getting we're the team that's getting all the criticism,
Aye.
If you look at it that way. And I know you're on about last season, but if you look at it that's where we've been in a better position, I think, this year than we were last year. Maybe the league, so maybe they've been a few points clear, but if you look at it that way, it's not a bad start to the season, is it?
No. Listen, I think we're very honest on here, Jaffa. We're even tonight, we're coming on a decent result against the Danish champions, but we're saying, look, we know we can play better.
Yeah, definitely. And we all know we can. And I mean, the manager knows that as well, of course. Yeah, that's why you can hear the disappointment and a bit of disdain in his voice. But as he said, two clear goals, and we would have took it. Ox, you're right, 100%, mate. If you'd offered us that before the start of the competition, we would have took that and said, look, you need to beat Sparta Prague with 2 clear goals at Ibrox. Will you accept that? Absolutely accept it. Aye.
Aye.
I think he's just as frustrated as we are. I think Ox is just. We all know what levels we can reach, and I think that's just been the frustrating thing. But if you take a seat, think me back at it and look at it where we are now, and just what I'd said there, I think he's just frustrated like we are. We know we're capable of a lot better, but as I said, we've had a lot of changes, and we've had obviously a few injuries, and then with the COVID stuff, so it's been very unsettling for the start of the season.
I don't think we'll be alone in that, Scott. I think
they'll
be dealing with the same thing. You have to just deal with it. It's modern football.
That's
What did we use? Did we make 5 subs tonight? Who come on? Bakuna come on.
5
5 subs. 16 players. Bassey came on and the front three were renewed. So, I mean, we've made 5 substitutions. That's 16 players you've used in one game. I think the United used 16 players in one season back in the day, you know.
But it was a strong bench, I thought, tonight. The bench strong. I thought there's a few options there to bring on. The Patterson was on the bench as well. Lundstrom.
I'm still trying to work out the Lundstrom one. He's Aberdeen disappeared. I don't know if he's got a knock or, you know, or he needs to up his levels. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, Jaffa.
You'll never know, Ox, wouldn't we? These are the dark arts that go in behind dressing room walls. You don't know. You just listen. We've all been played football and things are said, aren't they? Words come out. Sometimes you regret them. I'm not saying that's happened. I've got no clue. Maybe the guy's just, been off form a wee bit and he's taking him out the firing line. Knowing Stevie G as we know him, he's brilliant at man management, and I suspect he's probably just brought him out the firing line, let him get back to fitness and hopefully regain his confidence. Footballers are funny objects, Alex. It's all about confidence, isn't it?
Aye. You know, and you do need a bit of luck, you know. If that hits the tip of Balogun's head, because the bar was saying what a great bit of defending. You know, it's small margins, but
moments.
When you see it, it does look horrendous, Scott.
Aye, Morelos misses the boy gets in front of Morelos, and funnily for our goal, the boy lost Morelos, for the one that get chopped off. So Morelos missed his front post header, and then Balogun just was facing her. He wasn't faced up right. You'd think he would just tear that straight out the way again, but he just get caught facing the wrong way, and it just went in. Just one of the things, isn't it?
Aye,
that was the only way they looked at scoring to me, Ox. I didn't think they were. As I said, they didn't play through us or anything like that.
I'm glad you mentioned Morelos. I thought he gave us enough effort without quality. I don't know if there's just Alfie. I think he needs a spark. What that spark is, I don't know, Jeff. Just they really kick him on, you know.
He's a goal scorer, isn't he? He's what was centre forwards, isn't he? You know, these guys live off. You talk about confidence here. Goal scorers, confidence is everything to them, and where they get their confidence from is when that ball ripples in the back of the net. You know, they're the most selfish player on the team, most of them, and that's a fact. You know, in every football team up and down the country. But he's not getting into those positions. He's not playing as an out and out striker, of course. The game plan's different. I mean, his link-up playing against Motherwell on Sunday was brilliant. All the wee touches and knocking into players. And he bought a foul tonight. Don't know if you remember it in the first half.
Aye.
Where he got us up the park. And I think that's what Morelos is brilliant at. I think he's magic at that. Sticking that big arse he has into the guy behind him. And the guy, buys it every time and he gets fouls left, right and centre. He just doesn't do enough of that for me. I think that's one of his best qualities. And I think that Alfie, he loves that because he's the centre of the attention. But you're right. Is it a spark? Is it, I don't know, Ox. We're not there, mate. We're not in the dressing room, so we can't speculate, can we?
I think the early booking as well doesn't help him as well. I don't know, because that's his game. And you think that when he played against Porto, I mean, the 2 games against him, it was unplayable, and that boy, the big Portuguese, I mean, he'd 3 of them in toast, really. 3 2 games. They didn't know what to do with him. It was outstanding. But as soon as I seen the early booking, I said, you'll not see much of him now, because as you say, if he tries to nick the ball and he's late at all, it's a red card, isn't it? So, especially in Europe. So I think the early booking...
It's just that thing in the back of your head, Scott, isn't it?
That's all.
It's in the back of your head.
Aye. But to be fair to him, he has. But maybe that's what we're needing for him, back to his old ways where he was living on the edge with bookings and all that, where he used to barge into people and nick the ball. I've just not seen that Alfie this year, know what I mean? Maybe he needs to get his edge back.
It's all about getting your edge, and you need a bit of luck. if Morelos gets that goal and the ball it's given, and we go and win 2-1, you're saying Alfie got a goal for you. There's fine margins, Jaffa.
That's it, Ox. That's football, isn't it? He was right. I mean, the first 20 minutes of the game tonight, I thought he looked right up for it. He was running the line well. He was closing down. They were pressing together collectively. Him and Sakala. Sakala looked quite sharp, but they for whatever reason they overloaded the middle of the park, and they seemed to get control's not the right word. They didn't get control, but they were seeing more of the ball. And I think we fell out of it, or we just stopped. We stopped doing that. Go back to the manager's point, we just seemed to not get going anymore, as if we took our foot off the gas.
I can't put my finger on it. I just really don't know where it went wrong.
I think if we get the first goal as well, it's a totally different game then, isn't it? Because then they've got to come out a wee bit more, and then
we pick them off. We
had them in the break. We that's. If you look at all our best, I think we've scored first in most of our European games. That's where all our best performances came. We picked teams off after that, and if that goal goes in, I think we would have won the game quite comfortably, 2 or 3-0. I would imagine. I don't think that team were even they didn't really have a shot on target anyway. But I just think if we get that first goal, it's a totally different game. It'd be nice to get the first goal just to see how we would.
It'll be a strange feeling.
It would be, yeah.
It'll be a strange feeling.
It'd be not long.
A nosebleed.
Talking about strange feelings, we've been joined by Alex Kelly.
Thanks
Hi,
for
Alex.
that intro. Hi, Jaffa. Hi, Ox.
Always different for
How you doing, mate?
It's a different insult with every phone call. I don't know how you do it.
It's the material you gave me.
Very good, very good. Listen, I'm not too disappointed tonight. Brondby, I've seen Brondby before in the domestic Danish leagues. I knew they were a good home team. Their home fans generate a good atmosphere, so their players tend to raise their game to that. Even though they didn't create an awful lot of opportunities, they were certainly dangerous going forward, and they were causing a wee bit of confusion between our midfield and our defence for me. But I'm not too disheartened. I would have took a draw before. We're still well in the group, and now we've got this big game with Sparta to go through. But what the point I was going to put to you guys is, even if we do manage to progress out of the section, fine. If we don't, we drop into this conference thing. There's still going to be money in the coffers, but let's be honest, we're not going to go in and win one of these competitions now. I don't think anyway. It's all about a domestic treble for me. And the last 3 seasons, we've done fantastic in Europe, but has that been a detriment to no going on to win like a League Cup or a Scottish Cup?
Well, put it this way: the League Cup, we play 2 weeks on Sunday, and we play it 5 days or 4 days before we play in Europe again. I don't think the League Cup should be influenced by the Europe, and that should hopefully gets to the final. Yeah?
Yeah.
And you'd like to think a final takes care of itself. The Scottish Cups, I think you play 2 rounds before you play in Europe again. So the draw is the draw, and you'll take that as it comes. I just think Europe's so important for prestige, revenue, and attracting players. Jaffa?
Exactly, Alex. Alex, I still think, I know what you're saying, and I understand your point, but we've got an opportunity to, this season, if we win the league, to pick up £40 million, roughly, give or take 4 or 5 million if we go into the Champions League. That quite literally wipes out our bank balance and squares it all off. And that money would probably, or at least a large proportion of that money, would be reinvested in the team, which would ultimately means we are going to, as fans, probably see 3 or 4 really good players added to the current squad, and that knocks us up a level. And that means that potentially we could be even stronger in the league as far as getting into cups. It all rubs along together. Yeah. The reality is, we as a fan base, we demand European football. Our fans demand it.
Scott,
we've got...
Oh, sorry, Jeff. Sorry, finish, mate.
It's all right, it's okay. Well, it's not.
No,
finished.
you
There was
go,
a full
Jeff,
stop coming in there.
Sorry, no, you go, Jeff. I'll finish off, mate.
I was just going to say, I think as a fan base, we demand European football, and you need those two, both domestic and European football. A club our size, we need that every season for a whole variety of financial reasons and prestige reasons. As a club the size that we are, full stop.
I want both, Alex. And you come, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, any competition we go into, you want to do the best you can. And for where we've came from in Europe, is Gerard's obviously brought us on, and we've got revenue for that. But I agree with it, the league's the main one, because if we get into that, we're not going to make 40 million for the next round of the Europa League. So the league's the main thing to get into the Champions League. But you want to do well in this competition, get as far as we can, because then you're going to come up, when you get into these kind of end of this type of the competition, you're going to come up against teams with just as good a quality, or maybe not even better when we get into the Champions League, and hopefully that's what will be next year. But Europe, the revenue is great, and it's also, the Bears like a good away trip as well, don't you? So it's good for that as well.
I just think it's important for the club, Alec. I accept your point. A lot of guys would say they would lose the next 2 games in Europe, and if it gave us a domestic treble, and I understand the argument, I get it, but I just think if you're sitting in that boardroom and you're trying to get us somewhere, your league's a priority, and I don't know if Europe's knows number 2 in the next list. I don't know really if the Scottish Cup, the League Cup, feel behind Europe now. Modern football's changed. Alex, last word before we go to the tune.
No, listen, I get that 100%. What you guys are saying about the finances. It's just, I can't see us going to actually win one of these European competitions now. The monetary factors with the TV companies and the leagues and everything, it's kind of developed beyond us now. But I get having to get a run into the latter stages, last 16s, or maybe even a quarter final. But for me, the domestic treble, win it for Walter. I would love to win a treble in our 150th year.
No, the New Year playing the emotions, Keir. That's right. Get yourself.
You like that?
We're gonna. I like that. That's quite good. I'll give you that one. Get yourself in.
I'm going to drop out and let some more callers in. Have a good night, lads. Thanks for taking my call.
Great to hear from you as always, Scott, mate.
Right, take care, guys.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Cheers now. Bye.
We're going to have a tune.
I've been in exile for some years, and my eyes filled up with tears when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. So I took a trip along just to hear some famous songs when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. I stood there all alone while the boys all down from home sang of Rangers, that team of great renown. And a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung, and a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. Now on the field below, the boys put on a show, the likes they'd never seen at Molyneux. And it's football, it was grand, from Macmillan, Scott and Brand, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung, and a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. Now the white flag must come nearer with men like Bobby Shearer, the way he played at Wolverhampton Town. And the world forever after would sing of Jimmy Baxter, for on his head they placed that noble crown. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung, and a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton Town. Now I knew it had to happen, I heard a mighty roar. The famous Glasgow Rangers, they had scored, and the sky was white and blue, Wolverhampton shook right through. The loyal rampant Rangers had come through. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung, and a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton Town. When the Rangers came to Wolverhampton Town.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Thanks for that, Fox. Old School Blue. I think it's a compliment to this squad of players that we've went away from home and we've drew 1-1. I know they're not the greatest side, but we've still went away and went 1 down at half time and got a goal back, and maybe could have went on and won the game at the end, Alex. It shows you what Stevie G's achieved on very limited budget, mate.
Yeah, I couldn't argue with any of that, Ox. We're showing character. We're showing good qualities in the team that good teams possess. You know, you get back to 92, feet that the guys didn't know when they were beaten. We were 2-0 down to Marseille with 20 minutes to go in a soaking wet night, and they come back and drew 2 each. I'm not comparing Brondby being the same scale as Marseille, but you can know where I'm coming from, the character within the team that refused to lie down. We could have went on to win that
also,
tonight.
Alex, I don't know if you heard the interview. The manager's disappointed that we didn't win the game. He's not saying it's a great point or whatever. He's saying, no, we should have won it.
We should have. We should have. Well, he told you 2 weeks ago he was looking for 4 points minimum out of these 2 games. He got the win at Ibrox and obviously fancied these chances tonight. I think on paper we were a better team than them, but for some reason, as Jaffa alluded to earlier, well, that's 10 games we went behind out of 22 games we played this year. There's something no right with the attitude or the concentration, or we're just unlucky. But you can't keep giving teams a goal at a start and then expect to come back and beat them. We're not giving ourselves a chance with starting games like that or losing the first goal.
But is it the defence that's letting a goal in, or is it the forwards that's not putting 2 in the other end?
Well, I'll probably say a bit of both, but certainly if the strikers are missing loads of chances, we didn't really create a lot of chances in the first half, apart from Alfie's ghost goal that we don't know whether it was legit or no. But certainly, I think Balogun he threw his neck kind of out there, his head out there, because he was expecting somebody to come behind them, but unfortunately it's landed in our net. But we've responded well. I think that the 5 subs suit Gerrard because he can change basically half his team to compensate for whatever's happening in the game. I think he finds it a wee bit more difficult in the domestic game because he's only got 3 subs to use.
All right, Jaffa?
When you think about the strength of the bench that we had tonight, I think you said at the start of the show, Ox, the bench looked quite strong, or Scott said it. When you look at what we done when he changed the front line, we brought on nearly £17 million worth of talent. off our bench between Kent, Hadji and Roof. And that's what changed the game tonight. But going back to your point, is it not scoring the goals at the front end, or is it losing stupid goals? It's a combination of both, isn't it? Because if you score one or two of those goals at the front end, you probably never lose that goal at the other end, because there's no pressure on them, and they would just go out and defend it. And the game, as we always say, goals change games, don't they? They change the whole dynamic. They change how the other team approaches it. I also have to say, let's go back to context again. It was the Danish champions we were playing, and there was 30,000 or whatever that stadium holds. I'm not sure, Alex, you might be able to correct me on that, whether it's 30 or 35,000. It kind of looked about that size. 35,000 Partizan fans, really loud. It was a really loud crowd. And they were loud when they came to Ibrox a couple of weeks ago as well, and colourful and all the rest of it. So, their team was in a different mode as well. They played they played a lot better than what they played like 2 weeks ago. But we should still have beat them by a mile. We should have beat them tonight.
I agree. We should have beaten them, but we never. I think Southside made a point on Monday evening. I don't know if you heard it, Jaff, Alex, that he said that sometimes the bounce of the ball just goes against you, and for losing that first goal because the defence hasn't done much different for last year. But the difference is Balogun's header goes over the bar, and this year it was in the back of the net, and sometimes it's just the bounce of the ball. But I just like to start scoring more goals, particularly early on, and then I think we become a better side. Alex?
I'd agree with that. We seemed to grow in confidence. I thought we'd kind of turned the corner that first part game. After they obviously going the goal behind, Tavernier's performance, the kind of second half of the first half was absolutely brilliant. Obviously, he scores the wonder goal and he sets up Sakala, and the rest of the team feed confidence off of that. So you're right in the sense that if we do score goals, the rest of the team gets the confidence factor. Now all of a sudden, Davis is controlling the game and Aribo's running at defences, and just one thing after that, it all falls into place. But when we're under pressure, we kind of go in our shells a wee bit. We start playing safe. We don't go up the park with as much intent as what we did before, and we're always, fearful of losing that stupid goal at the back there, and that's what brings us under pressure with the forward line missing opportunities.
Aye, I mean, I'm not saying it's just luck, Jaffa, but sometimes football can be fine margins.
Well, it is, Ox. That's sport in general. The amount of water that's on a particular bit of the park, it could cause an incident to happen. There's a whole variety of things come into play. And that park was soaking, because I seen them. I mean, it was literally like firemen's hoses they had out in the second, right at the end of the first half. It was splunging. They obviously were doing that for a reason, because I don't know whether it was for their benefit. But we were over hitting balls all night, or under hitting them. We weren't at it. We didn't get going. Second half was a bit better, but it wasn't. The front three changed the game. We got the goal, and we got a draw out of it. But that's about as much of the positives I can take out of it. There wasn't much more to take in that respect.
I get it. I get what you're saying. It wasn't a vintage performance. We would be exaggerating the truth if we said it was vintage, JK.
No, far from it. But we've kept ourselves in the group. If we lose there tonight, we make it doubly difficult. So we've kept ourselves in the group, and as Jaff alluded to earlier, we owe this Prague mob. We've got history with them now. We're making it personal, just the same as they're making it personal. And I'd love Ibrox to be bouncing that night, and it's to get a resounding 2 or 3-0 win. And let's kind of stamp our authority on this group, because I think that beating Sparta with a couple of goals would basically get us through where we lost or no in the end game. Is that right?
Aye, we're through. If we win, we can't be caught then. If we win 2-0, mate.
Is it head to head it comes down to, Ox? Is that right, between us and Sparta?
I'm going for a Glenn Kamara double.
Oof, that would do that. That would do.
One for Hadji.
I've always liked Hadji, you know that.
You know that.
I never get a text from you. I never get a text from you during the game, Alex. What's wrong?
That warning you gave me. I'm going to text you again now.
Did you speak to Port Bear?
No, I haven't managed to catch him.
Ask him, you'll find it quite funny.
All right.
And that's it. We had. I don't think there was anybody who was shocking tonight. Some bad spells of play. People done all right at times. We were all 5.5, 6.5, maybe had the odd 7. Whereas against a worse team, Murrow, I get it. Everybody was 7s and 8s, and maybe a 9 for Callan and Davis. We just never got there again tonight collectively. No pun in the individuals. I didn't think that Barisic looked sharp, but there was just a spark missing. I just can't put my finger on it. I don't know if it's. I can't blame the shape. I can't blame the tactics. The
team was what we were all asking, Ox. Before that, I'm sure I heard you last night chatting about it. What would the team be? The team would be. We all said just go with the team. And I don't know about you, Alex, but I thought exactly. I listened to the show last night and I thought exactly the same thing. I thought, just put the team out that played on Sunday. And okay, he made one change. He took Bassey out and put Barisic back in. That's not really, for me, that's not really changing the team. The team, in essence, was still the same. The front three were the same. But it just shows you, it's 4 days apart and you get a completely different outcome.
It's just what you said there. I mean, everybody was basically saying, well, you put in that sort of performance, give the guys another chance. They've won the jerseys, but certainly didn't hit any of the levels they were hitting at Fir Park on Sunday. I just thought they went out there with a kind of safe approach. They weren't up for it for some reason, and I don't know where the Morelos goal getting disallowed took the wind out ourselves, and we just thought, right, okay, then we'll get to half time and then reset ourselves again. But unfortunately, we lost a daft goal and then came out the second half, and he was forced to make the changes. But I thought his subs were positive tonight.
I thought there was sense in his subs. I mean, I prefer as Morelos won the part personally. But once you've been booked and Alfie's likely to do something, I understand it. And I didn't think he was particularly brilliant anyway, if I'm being honest, doing the piece. Like the rest of the team, he wasn't just quite at it, but he's always likely to do something good and bad. But one of these things, the goal, we were a wee bit flat when the goal gets in the start of the second half, because I think of the goal when we lose it, Jaffa.
Yeah, well, they losing a goal right on the whistle in the first half knocks a wind out yourselves. It just does, because you can't retort, you can't reply. So you've got 15 minutes of stewing in the dressing room of kicking yourself. And I think they got a bounce out of that. There's no two ways about it. And that's why I think he gave it 10 minutes in the second half to see if they could we could get going. And we didn't get going. It wasn't really changing. If anything, they were probably getting a bit more of a hold in the game again. And the minute he changed it, he changed the front three. We looked a different team. We had a bit more zip about us up front. And I called him to corner goals, and I was just reading an article there. He thinks we gave them too much respect, which I find quite astonishing, because after the first game, I wouldn't have given them any respect at all.
Maybe he's right. Maybe thought they'd be a better side at home, but it's done now. You have to move on.
Yep.
Talking about people we always give respect to. Don't mean you, AK. We'll be joined by Liz. Evening, Liz.
Hi, Liz.
Mrs. Hollander.
Hiya, how are you all tonight?
I take it we missed Hollander.
Hello, Mr. Kelly.
Hello, Liz.
I take it, yeah. You got it in one. Hello, how are you? They just took the thing out of me, don't they? Look, when I read, he's a big miss, but I thought Balogun was good tonight, so there you go.
I thought Balogun had a reasonable game. I take 1 point off his performance because of the own goal. Apart from that, he was up there with one of our better players, Jaffa.
I thought so as well, Ox. He had a couple of really good interceptions in the first half, a couple of nice tackles. I thought he was aggressive. he was nudging them off the ball. I like when he does that. He likes a good shoulder challenge, Big Leon, doesn't he? I'm referring to him as Leon, Liz, because I fortunately had a good wee chin wag with Big Leon a couple of weeks back in Glasgow, and I have to say he loves the Glasgow Rangers and he comes across brilliantly.
Oh, did I hear about that? Oh, did I hear about that? My phone went, oh, guess who I beat with? Oh, blah, 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 beat my mate.
My best mate. Big Leon.
You name dropping Jaffa.
Andy's partner, Jaffa.
I did. Yes, I met his partner as well. She was a lovely young lady.
Struck with as well, wasn't he?
I was very struck with her.
Yes. Aye, but I get listen, but Balogun done okay on the piece there, but Hadji, that boy Hadji comes on and gets a goal, one of my all-time favourites, Liz.
Yeah, Hadji played well, but I think when Morelos' goal was chopped off, I think the team just went downhill after that. And then when they came out in the second half and Stevie G made that change, it was just tremendous. But I still say, look, we're not out of this. We can still do this and support our players no matter what. That's what I say.
I like that style. AK.
We always support our players, didn't we? We get behind the team, and you got to commend all the Bears that made the trip tonight to Copenhagen. I don't know how many allocation we had. I think it might have been 3,000, just over. But it was great to see everybody enjoy themselves, and hopefully they'll be happy at the point tonight. Hopefully everybody comes back safe and sound, and then we go again on Sunday.
Aye, Sunday's no far away. What's that? 3 sleeps and 3 naps for the bridge, and then we play a big game at Ibrox. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. Liz, if you go back to when Stevie G walked in the door, with no pedigree in Europe, they were disappointed they got 1 each draw against the Danish champions.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with. I mean, I would rather have I take a point rather than not get no points. And I mean, I thought, oh my God, are we going to get a score tonight? And then I thought, when Hadji and Kent and that come on, I thought they were just tremendous. And I thought, good on Hadji for getting his goal. I wasn't so sure about Roof tonight. I don't know if he was, but that's me. I support him no matter fit. And I just support Stevie G. If our players he puts on that part, we support them. And I thought we did well the second half.
Well, we got the goal. And we had opportunities, Jaffa, to score the second goal, didn't we? I don't know if we did any real chances, but opportunities, if that makes sense.
We certainly opened them up enough to get in behind them. Tavernier had he was instrumental in a couple of good balls out on the side. He just couldn't get the ball into the goalkeeper. I remember one smothering out on the 6-yard line, where Roof was just maybe about half a yard away from him. We didn't slice them open and create clear-cut chances. But I do think, Ox, if the game had went on for maybe 5 or 10 more minutes, I think we would have got a second goal. We certainly looked them more lightly. They were dead on their feet, and I think our front line had them on the ropes.
See, if you get a chance to see the highlights against Liz, and then I'll go to Alex. Actually, your goal was a better goal than you think it is the first time you see it. It's a great move, fantastic move.
The own goal? No,
our
goal. Our goal was good. Yeah, between Aribo. Yeah, that was a lot. See, the own goal was good as well. It was a good header. But I just thought I'd bring it up. But the other thing that annoyed me tonight was our players got booked for. I didn't think it was fouls. But then when you look at Ryan Kent, the foul he got, I thought that player should have been booked.
If I'm being honest, when I seen the Morelos one again, he's caught him in the ankle. I can see how that was a yellow card. The Sakala one, I'm still baffled with. AK?
No, definitely 100%. I agree with that. Morelos was a fraction late and caught the guy in the top of the foot. So that's a booking all day long. And for only 4 minutes into the game, I was a wee bit, Alfie, you better watch yourself here. But the Sakala one was, I mean, where's the referee expecting him to put his feet? You know, and the guy's writhing in agony. And even Sakala, that you can see the facial expressions like that. Well, what did you want me to do? And I don't know whether he was reacting to the crowd or whatever, but Sakala was definitely no intent. And I thought Sakala was actually a wee bit unlucky to get the yellow card, because I think that affected Gerrard's decision to substitute him, because he didn't want to chance him getting another yellow for a red, obviously.
Can I just come in there, Ox?
Yes, mate.
See, on that point, Alex and Liz, see the booking for Sakala. If I'm not mistaken, that came from a VAR. That came from the ref, because he initially didn't say anything to Sakala.
They checked for a red card, mate.
Was that what they were doing, Ox? Checking for a red card? Is that what they were doing?
Yeah. They checked to see if it was a deliberate stamp.
Right, and then he got instructed to give him a yellow card.
That's what it looks like, Jaffa. That's what it looks like.
So is that what VAR does? Is that part of the remit?
Jaffa, you're asked the wrong guy here. I think they make it up as they go along, you know.
I thought it was for big incidents like goals and penalty incidents. I didn't think I didn't even know it actually encompassed red cards. I didn't know that was part of it. Part of it.
Yeah, it does. It highlights a potential red card incident. I think they actually via VAR thought that he deliberately stamped on him, but they obviously he didn't. But he still didn't want a yellow card for that. And going back to Alfie's goal, you know, they can put lines and everything to show an offside or a goal line technology to see if the ball's crossed. Why do we not get the line to tell us if it's crossed the byline?
Well, that puzzled me as well, Alex. Why that information wasn't out?
I think that's only the top links, mate. I don't think it's available in the whole of Europe. You know, it's the TV companies that do that.
I thought it was VR.
Going back to, is there a wee learning curve there for Sakala? Just a wee thing that enthusiasm's great, Liz, but that guy was going nowhere. You just make him defend it, and you stayed. You know, you make him put it out for a throw, and then you're attacking rather than gay. It was, and the guy was going nowhere. He didn't need to just give him the wee tap that gave the foul, and he rolls about in agony. Just stand on your feet, make him play it, and maybe make him make a mistake. Or am I being too picky?
Well, I'm just thinking that if there's rules for like I didn't think Fashions was a booking, but if you think about it and you looked at Ryan Kent and the boy took him out, I thought, well, why is he not getting a booking? I mean, is it just our players that they're going for a game? That's just what it was me when I was watching the game. I'm going, oh my God, that's not fair. But that's me.
Anyway, talking about guys who are always fair, but being going to be Jim for Paisley. How are we doing, Jim?
Well, anyway, I thought it was bad. I was trying to get through a while ago to get cut back. Anyway, I'm not disappointed this evening at all. No disappointed whatsoever this evening. The first half, as far as I'm concerned, was a non-event. I'll give Stevie G his due. He made the substitutions I think we all wanted. If you look at that first half, because there was nothing really happening for us. They're not a great team, as we spotted at Ibrox. He made the substitutions at the right time, and well done to your favourite player, Yannis Hadji.
Oh, top man.
Fantastic. I don't know if you agree with that, though, because the substitutions were superb. Because Stevie said, previous for us, leave it too late or change it, but it needed to be changed. But it needed changing tonight, and he did it. He did it at the right time. And I'm quite happy to walk away with 1 point tonight.
There was sense in all the substitutions. The front three coming off, Joe Aribo going back with Arfield, Stephen Davis going off, and Calvin Bassey replacing Warner coming back for a lot of games. There was sense in all the substitutions. Jaffa?
Yep, and Big Bacuna as well when he was it Davis he took off and brought Bacuna on. There was Ox. The substitutions I thought were really effective tonight and were pivotal changing the game, Jim. That's what got us the goal ultimately. I think I'm trying to think how many of the subs were involved in the goal. Well, obviously Hadji and Kent were involved, instrumental in it. So yeah, good subs tonight. It was a great. The timing, he done it sharp, 55 minutes, which is it was great.
But Jaffa, in the previous occasions, he's not made substitutions at the right time. As far as I was concerned, they spoke of this in previous shows. But the night he was spot on, I thought.
Yeah, he was obviously. I think we did chat about it a number of weeks ago, Jim, and it was a 78th minute and 82nd minute, and sometimes that's too late in a game to let a guys go on and get a feel for it and have an effect on it. But it was good, and I think probably, as well as getting a point tonight, the biggest positive for me tonight was having Ryan Kent back on the park.
Well, I thought that was superb. That gets some more minutes in his legs. He'll probably get another half hour of the weekend and get him ready for the Nerdy game, obviously.
Oh, there's a lot of football before then, mate. Loads and loads of football. We've got
the same time, Ox. We've got to keep the boy running a bit. It's all right training every day, but once you're playing football on the park, yourself, you've been a super football player in your day.
Thanks very much. You've obviously seen the DVDs. There's nearly 2 months to go, Jim. I don't think we can plan for the Nerdy game. I think.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm thinking because I've seen Christmas lights on Paisley now.
Listen, you've not even done fireworks. They're tomorrow night, you know what I mean?
That's for the COP26, Jim. The lights.
I was working last night and they protested have taken over the Amy Shalom Centre.
Again, Jim, I missed that one.
See, the protesters, the people that glue their faces to the walls and all that shit, I don't know if you know the Amy Shalom Centre, it's used to be a homeless joint in the south side where I work, right? It's been empty for a few months now. It's opened up last night, they've took over it. The protesters are squatting in the place, so I don't know what's going to happen today. It's going to be interesting to go back to work.
Oh, well. Listen, talking about the Nerd Day, you still have the day, they do New Year's Day. Have you worked on the buffet for that, mate?
Absolutely, aye. Yeah, by the way, I got the turkey breast in this morning away for work.
The roll? Did you get the roll this year or the crown?
Absolutely. No, I got the crown.
Thank you, mate.
But nobody likes the rest. There was a lot of waste last year, if you remember correctly.
I tell you what, that was a great do, Jim. I thought you put on some spread, mate. Looking forward to it again.
By the way, I know nobody likes the Brussels sprouts, but I like Brussels sprouts, so I've got another bag of them. You'll not get your Brussels sprouts. You'll get your usual beans.
Oh, no. No with turkey, mate. No with turkey. Right, okay. Looking forward to it, Jim. Looking forward to you. Mate, a smashing volleyball.
I've got wee fellas this year.
Well done, mate. Proudy. Right, okay. Where are we this season? Jaffa?
Where are we, Ox?
Hey.
Where are we? That's a very, very, very good question. That's a really good question. I don't think we've got going yet. I don't think we've got going our season. I mean, I don't know, many games is that we've played now? Is that, 19, 20 games we've played in all competitions? Must be round about that, Ox. And I don't think there's, apart from Sunday, which was the best performance for me of the season, I don't think there's been many more of those performances. I think I'd like to see those performances being more regular. And I think you'll see us tearing up this league if we get that.
All right. Where are we? Come on, help me out.
I quite agree. I think we haven't got going yet, but I always said to you, there's better things to come from our team, and I think we'll win again on Sunday with a big high score, and then I think we'll take it for there again. But we're still in the cups, and we're still Europe to play, so we're going to do good. But anyway, I'm going to let you get more callers on, and I shall speak to you maybe on Maybe tomorrow, maybe Saturday. Or maybe wait till Sunday till we win.
All right, always good to hear from you, Liz. It's good having you on. I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, I do indeed. And thank you very much for having me.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers, Liz.
Nice to talk to you, Liz.
Bye. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Cheers, Liz.
See you.
Here, Jaff. See the night, the game tonight. See the performance tonight. Were you disappointed in the performance tonight after the weekend's game?
Aye, I was, Jim. Aye, I was a bit. I just thought they were flat, especially the first half. There was a lot of misplaced passing, and it wasn't a landing. And I wouldn't say necessarily it was any player that had a rubbish game. Collectively as a team. And maybe I'm being unfair because that team were maybe better than I think, but I don't think they are. I think we should have beat them tonight.
Well, I expected more than after the weekend, and it seemed to take a step back, in my opinion. But took a step backwards again. If after watching the weekend performance, just me probably. That's why I felt about it.
I don't think the two things are connected. I think you're stepping up a class with some of the draws we play in Scotland. We should be beating them with scores like that if we play. We should have beat that team. I'm not saying we should have beat them 6-1 AK, but we should have beat them if we played, but we never quite got there tonight.
No, you're right. And that's what happens when we don't hit the levels we expect of our team. We're not going to turn their, Danish champions at the end of the day. Where we kind of rated them. I know that's what they've proved to be last year. They were better than Copenhagen. They were better than Midtjylland, teams who are established Champions League teams. So give a wee bit of credit to Brondby. As I say, I've watched them before. I watched them actually beat Midtjylland about 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. So I knew they were a good home team. I knew the atmosphere that was awaiting us tonight, but I don't think the team were overawed with the atmosphere. I just, for some reason, they didn't hit the same levels as what they hit against Motherwell, and it was basically the same team as what we put out. So, but as I say, we've kept ourselves in it. We take a point. 2 games to go. 1 at Hame Ibrox to your nearest challengers. I think we would take that before, especially after losing our first 2 games. We'll put ourselves in a great chance to qualify.
I'm going to cut here. Listen, see this, just for me, for Matt, the way I feel about this, I don't really care about Europe. We're a bigger fish to fry this season. We've got this league championship to win. I think we should.
You, Jim, innit? It's always food.
I know. It's still Friday. I'm not a fishy day.
I get your point. I think, Alec, you made the same point, didn't you, when you came on?
Yep.
Yeah.
For me, Europe's a bit of a bonus, but I want that treble this year. Win it for Walter, the 150th year. How good would that be?
I'll help you here, Jim. Europe's the gravy.
Absolutely. Listen, we win this league. We win this league this year. I think we've got 30 million for we kick a ball. And then I think Steve will get money in January. I definitely think he'll get money in January to make sure we get this league won.
Aye. I get it, I understand it, but I think it's important for the club for prestige and to attract players, mate. To take us to the next step. I think Europe's important. Jaffa?
Yep, definitely, Ox. I mean, we wouldn't have some of the guys that are already at our club if we weren't performing regularly in the Europa League. I believe that guys like Roof and stuff, I don't think would have come to us. And even Hadji possibly wouldn't have come to us. Or even though I know he's a young lad, I'm sure he had plenty of offers on the table. So, yep, for me, Europe's great. I love it, but I do. And there's a fine margin. It's a fine balancing act. I get it that a lot of fans would prefer a domestic treble, and I hear what I would as well, Alex. I want a domestic treble. I want it all. that's the bottom line, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I think there's thousands of us that want it all and want to win everything that we enter. That's what we have been brought up on. That's why we're Rangers supporters. That's why we're the biggest team in the country.
Aye, I get it. I mean, I think the League Cup should take care of itself, as I said earlier, Jim. We've got a final 2 weeks, a semi-final 2 weeks on Sunday, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be in the final. And then we play a European tie after that. We're in the final. The domestic treble starts getting closer. But the league's always a priority. It's got to be the priority. But I just feel for the model and the players and the directors, every £500,000 that you pick up is important for the club, but also the prestige of getting good results in Europe. It helps you.
Listen, Oaks, I understand everything you're saying there, but see, when I wake up in the morning, I'm not going to get that gut rot feeling in my stomach because we didn't get a result in Europe this evening. As I said to you, I don't.
No, I get
you know what I mean?
That's because you don't know any Brondby fans.
How do you know I don't? I've got loads of pen pals.
When you mentioned Danish earlier on, I thought you were going to start talking about pigs and blankets and bacon and that. Or pastries.
You're a mouthful more. I'm going to start baking. Now you've started me.
Or but they stopping you now, mate. They stopping you.
Couple of tarts.
Ox.
Yes, mate.
I was going to say, listen, I get your argument, I get where you're coming from with the financial rewards that Europe does bring us, but I'll give you a wee example. There was a team down in the north of London, Arsenal. Arsene Wenger had them qualify for the Champions League. I think it was 20 years in succession.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That became their focus. It was all about the money. And the longer he was there, the less trophies that he started to win. Our focus should always remain domestic treble, winning silverware. The money in Europe is a bonus. It's a big bonus. It's a bonus that we need to afford certain players. But you get where I'm coming from. Our club is built on success and winning trophies. So we need to be winning that domestic treble this year to underline our dominance of Scottish football again.
I'm not saying I don't want to win the treble, Alex. I'm not saying that at all.
I know you're not, but it's what we're built on. Mr. Struth set the bar. Mr. Smith set the bar again, and that's the bar that Mr. Gerrard's got to achieve.
Maybe Europe might have cost Mr. Smith his job at the back end of 10, because we never performed. When you spend a lot of money, Europe's not important for the football sense, Jaffa. It's the revenue it's important for, and the marketing. It's no.
Yeah, it is, and that's a fact. It's I know we might not, but we all have moderately different opinions and how we see it. I mean, I know we all collectively are still want Rangers to be successful no matter what, whether they're at home or abroad. And I get your point, Alex. The actual reality of us ever winning the Europa Cup, Europa League, all of the Champions League is miles away. It's without, I know we were at the final in 2008, but the chances of us winning a treble is more achievable. And I understand that, and that's what the club is built on. But we do need, the two of them rub together for me. They sit along the same levels. The expectation, they need the same investment. They need to be worked on because of getting sponsors in and getting players in and paying the players. I mean, the players that we pay nowadays, what we're back to, Alex. I mean, we've got guys in our squad that are on 30 grand a week, and I know in England that's peanuts, but up here that's a lot of money. And there'll be a right good few handful of them will be on 30 grand a week. There will be guys like Kamara and they've just signed new contracts and Tavernier and all the rest of them. They'll be on strong money, strong money. We need a lot. We probably couldn't pay those wages just for what you would get in Scotland.
And what we earned for the last 2 games against the Danish team, we've earned close to £1 million the time you take the gate receipts and you take the points money, a win and a draw. And the League Cup will get you near that, Alex.
Oh, listen, the money, we can go back to the old argument now, the deals that they've signed us up on, this Cinch deal and everything that it portrays, this wonderful deal and the wonderful deal with Sky, compared to your Spanish league, your English league, French, Italian, it's pittance what they're gaining us, so 100% get what you're coming for, but I'm just on about us as a club and us as a support. Our club's built on winning, and that should always remain the focus. I think with just some clubs have been lost over the years with focusing more on where they finish in, like in Arsenal. They forgot how to win and they become a shadow of the club. Liverpool were the same for up until Klopp came in. It was all just about finishing in certain positions within the league to give them the opportunity to win in big. The only position that we can finish in now is first, basically, in the league to get us that 30-40 million that Jaff is on about.
I think there's a guy standing at the side of the park with a suit on that might remember you a bit of him in Istanbul. You there, Alex?
Aye, sorry, I missed that there, sorry. Alex, what did you say there?
I think there's a guy standing at the side of the park for us with a suit on, might remember the beat again in Istanbul.
Oh, aye. Oh, definitely. Aye, he was instrumental in that, wasn't he? But Europe's a big motivation for him to do well. So, listen, Gerrard's no silly though. He said it himself, 9 trophies, 1 trophy, or 9 attempts, 1 trophy is no good enough for him, and it's no good enough for our club. So that's what he wants to succeed in.
Aye, and by the way, you're spot on with that argument. That's very true. They have overachieved in Europe, underachieved in the domestic cups. I don't think anybody could argue with that, Jaffa.
No. I think the first 2 years we probably knew when Gerrard came in. There was a number of transfer windows needed to take place. Also, there was the fact, if we all go cast our minds back to when Steven Gerrard came in, we didn't have a lot of money. We were still coming out of the dark place where the club had been, both financially. Yeah, we had some money guys involved, but that takes time to put all that in place and sort it out, and who's funding what and who's putting money in and what shareholding they're getting and all the rest of it. But we could have done a lot better in the Cups, you're right, but I don't think there's... Maybe in Steven Gerrard's second season, when we collapsed again in January, I think we all thought, because they were showing signs of faltering, that but it didn't happen. We get beat with Hearts, we get knocked out the Cup. We all remember that week. I think we get beat 3 times or 4 times in a row. But last year, he rectified that. But the only thing that was missing last year was a cup. That's true. Can't deny that.
Right, Alec, here's one for you, right? So, we're going for the domestics this season, right? So, what would you prefer? Right, we're going to League Cup final. We'll drop into that lower section of the Europa, whatever. I can't remember what they call it now.
I think they call it the song contest.
Right. so for the League Cup, we're on our way to the treble. So who really gives a damn about Europe? See, win that League Cup, then we're on our way. So Europe, nothing to me. That's my personal feeling about it, right? Don't really care.
I'm with you, Jim. I started my call at that. Europe's a kind of bonus for me this year. It's all about the domestic treble.
I'm thinking $1 million shares with the share price.
You think the Bridgeman share prices?
You're as well.
I get it, Jim. It's exciting when you build up. But I'm in a Jaffa camp. Why can't we do both? Jaffa?
That's my mate. That's where my mindset is, Ox. I want it all. I'm not going to lie. I've said on here a few times. I still see us as a Champions League club. I'm not saying I see us as a top 4 Champions League club. I'm talking about group stages. I see us. We should be competing in the group stages. And if we get third place in a Champions League group, and our club walks out with 30 million, 35 million every season, we as a football club would be in a much, much better place come 3 or 4 years in that. And I'm sure if that's the case, this domestic doubles and the domestic trebles would come rolling, no bother.
Now we're going to win a league first, but surely this season,
aye,
that big deal.
Exactly, Jim. Exactly.
You've got to win a league, aye. You're right, Jim. Well, the treble, the Champions League, they all depend on one thing, obviously, winning the league.
No, that's important. It's the most important thing for me this season.
Always is at the start of every season. That's your priority, isn't it?
That's what I said. That's what I said earlier on. Also, I'm not waking up in the morning about a bad feeling because of the nice result. Okay. Well, by the way, the good old days, a draw away for Open Europe was a fantastic result, but because the way after last season we performed in Europe in the last 2 seasons, it was a wee bit disappointing, but I don't really care about it now because we've got bigger, as I said, sardines, Stephen. I'm not going to say fish or anything.
Brilliant, Jim. Well, that was a great swerve there into sardines.
Sardines?
Sardines?
I always end up with a funny stomach when I come to your house. I think it's the prawns you don't defrost.
You don't like prawns, that's what I was.
Oh dear. He says they're fresh. They're just out the ice box. I think they're not defrosted.
How long have they been in the ice box?
2.5 years.
Mattoli captain in France.
When you go to Germany, you have to see the dates on the stuff. They're always within date. That's the month, the week, and the year. But you make sure you see what year it is.
That was a big mistake, George Fisco Bright. When you took it out of the freezer into the fridge.
Oh, I remember that.
Shepherd's pie.
Oh dear.
The ring of fire for a week, wasn't it?
Oh, God, it's some comedy moments, isn't it?
He's hilarious.
Oh dear. Aye, so it's Jim from Queensland's gave us some crackers as well, you know. To be fair, AK, you've had some moments and all, ain't you?
We've all had our closets in the cupboard.
Right, okay. Right, sum up. I asked where we were, but sum up the night, Jaffa. Their thoughts and what it means. And
a good point, Ox. I would say in the end, considering how we played, I would say it's a good point from a positive point of view. We're still in the group. We've got everything to play for. Great. I guess finale to the group because Sparta knows it's going to be either one of us. I suspect is going to get through into second place. So happy with that respect. And look forward to Sunday, Ox. After last week's performance in the league, the team should be buzzing. I mean, I agree with Jim. There's no point waking up tomorrow morning, feeling a bit dejected. I don't think there's any dejection in going to Denmark and getting a draw with the current league champions of Denmark. Albeit, on the night, I would say I think we should have beat them. We are a better team, but for a variety of reasons, team selection. I've just read another wee article there on Steven Gerrard saying he potentially maybe didn't pick the right front line and he's holding his hands up to it. So if the manager's saying that, I hang on every Steven Gerrard word. So because he's honest, he's incredible, and he's the integrity he says everything with. I think tonight's positive, folks. I think we've got a decent result, and we move on to Sunday.
So what do you think he thinks he should have picked?
Hi, that's a great question. I don't know. Maybe the three that he brought on.
But could we have said with confidence that Kent was going to last?
No, that's why he was on the bench, wasn't it? Listen, the front three that he started with deserved the starting chance tonight after the weekend's performance. I don't think MD could hold that. I think he's been a wee bit harsh on himself there by saying that.
Or is he want to G up Morelos?
Probably.
I think he's sending them a message here. Reading between the lines, I think he's saying to them, I gave you your opportunity there tonight. No good enough. You need to do better than that. I think he's sending them a wee message because he's got players on the bench here, as Jaffa said. £17 million he had sitting on the bench. And they brought them on and they changed the game. So he's sending all these messages out to his squad all the time. I like that about Gerrard. Nobody can be safe in their shirt, no matter who they are.
Jim, is it fair to be wise in hindsight? I think maybe this might have went with that team.
Listen, I think it's a difficult situation. I mean, it was a catch-22 situation. If we didn't start with Fashion Sakala after scoring a hat-trick the weekend, and the result was the same at half-time, we'd have been wondering, why do you not start a boy that scores a hat-trick the weekend? But I think it couldn't have won tonight, I don't think. But okay, he did change it. That's the most important thing for me. He did change it at the right time last year when it needed changing. And see if he didn't do it, because we were on here greeting the new. Why did he not do this? Why not? But he did the right thing in the second half. That's the first thing he did perfectly right. Because we've been on here before, Oxford, we've all done it. We've phoned in. He's changed the team at the wrong time, or he hasn't changed it. But I think he did the exact what he should have done tonight, in my opinion.
I get that. I just think he's beating himself up for some of these wise in hindsight, Jaffa.
Yep. That was the team to start with after the weekend's performance, and as you say, Ox, there's no way he could have started Brian Kent tonight because he's not even been back in the park. So he got 25 minutes or 35 minutes in his legs tonight, and I think that's majorly important moving into the weekend because he's came through it and there was no reaction, and that's great. I think he's been harsh on himself. Listen. We got a point in Denmark. He said, as Alex commented there, I forgot he'd said that he wanted 4 points minimum from the two games. But he got the minimum, didn't he? It would have been good to get 6, but we got 4.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, we'll reach that time in the evening. Just a wee shout out. We've had severe problems with Skype tonight. The boys have been working away in the background. Nothing to do with Rangers Radio, just a Skype issue. We know, for example, Hallberg, we couldn't get you in, but it's Skype. It's caused us all sorts of problems tonight, and thanks to the two guys beavering away in the background and keeping the show running. Old school Blue and Fox. AK, quick shout out.
I'll give a shout out to my good pal Andy for Leeds. I hope he's doing well. And a wee shout out to a good friend of ours, Alan Mitchell, down in Australia. Always think of you, pal.
All right. Jim, always good to hear from you, mate.
Oh, it's good to hear from you too. Can I give a shout out to Walter Smith's family and my love's with them?
Well said, Jim. Well said.
Here, man. Here.
My partner in crime tonight, Jaffa. Over to you, mate.
Thanks for having me on, Ox. Always brilliant. I love coming on to the Rangers Radio with yourself and the boys in the background. Love the show. Sorry the result didn't end up the way we wanted it. It's always good to talk about the Rangers, and I love it on here. And again, like Jim, my condolences to this Walter Smith's family. My thoughts have been with them a lot this week, as I'm sure everybody in Rangers Radio has been.
Yeah, maybe just quickly, I think it was 29 years ago today, Alan McCoy scored that famous goal in a 2-1 victory at Ellen Road. Listen, thanks for listening. Thanks to Jim. Thanks to Scott. Thanks to Liz. Thanks to AK for joining us. Thanks to Jaffa and Fox and Old School Blue for putting the show together. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers. Bridge will be back with a view for the bridge, and we'll be joined by Rudy Bear. Take it away, Old School Blue.